Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a new episode of It's a Progressive World, a lighthearted podcast about everything and nothing. As always, you can find timestamps down below, and please like and subscribe. Alrighty, Sam. I mean, I think the image already says what this whole show is about, but I guess give an overview.
Yeah, so again, we're gonna, as was the case with the last few episodes, we're gonna talk a lot about UFOs, whistleblowers, their mental states, uh, all that. We're gonna discuss that. Saagar had a strong take on the recent reports, recent leaks regarding the UFO whistleblower, David Grusch. So we're going to discuss that. We're going to then discuss geopolitics a little. Iran and US are making a tiny deal, it seems. They're making a few $1 million deal. Less than Twitter. And that's the the cost is less than how much Twitter costs. So, and Twitter is
Wow.
not that. Anyway, so then we're going to talk maybe a bit Pakistan, Imran Khan. Also, America seems to be making a lot of deals with Pakistan too. I mean, deal orders, whatever. So, and then we're going to go to more sort of progressive words. We're going to, there was a big, again, fight between Anna and Vaush, two just lovely characters, one lovelier than the other. So we're going to see clips from them. I think we have some RFK stuff. And yeah, that's about it. It's a chill. Yeah.
Nice. Good stuff. But yeah, man, the alien stuff. So I mean, we're gonna watch some videos now. Saagar, I mean, known very passionate about this topic, and I mean, I love the topic too, and I find it. I guess I do find it mainly fun. I mean, I enjoy it, and I wish there was more, but there isn't. But I never would have thought that it would turn into this thing where at least some people, based on like YouTube comments, really. So in the YouTube world, at least some people are much more attached to this topic than I would have ever imagined. And also, there's this thing of like this guilt tripping going around that like if you don't take it seriously, they kind of they try to make you feel guilty over this, and then you like question for a second, like as if you're, I don't know, mocking like a starving kid or something, as if like, wait, why are you guilt tripping me over this story? But yeah, that's what I was telling you the other day too. I messaged you, I was like surprised, you how passionate people are about this, and how real they, and how much real they think it is, what people like the David guy are saying.
If you're not taking this seriously, it just shows that you're a black-pilled cynic who has given up on humanity. You can't see the horizon of possibilities. That's what you are, unlike me, who is definitely not cynical about this, especially after the recent reports. But no, I mean, I love the guilt tripping that if you're not taking this seriously, well, maybe your mind is not open enough to the world of supernatural and the spirits, Okay, fair enough. So I definitely agree with you there, but you haven't. I mean, this is working out great, because what you just said is perhaps fantastic for foreshadowing for the Hill video we're gonna play, which you haven't. For you and anybody who hasn't seen that Hill video, it's quite a lot of foreshadowing there, because you'll see what happens there. And let's play the Hill video first before, I think, we're gonna do a breakdown of the Saagar
and then at the end of this video, I'm gonna prove, right, why there probably isn't anything really about the government knowing too much or keeping spacecrafts or things like that hidden, because we would have known. So at the end of this segment with the Instagram video, I will prove that. So
proof,
we'll get
as
to
in
that.
We are talking scientific proof.
Beyond scientific. Beyond this is
Chomsky will tip his hat. Okay.
Oh, don't bring up Chomsky.
Oh, sorry. Forgot he's associated with Epstein now.
All right, let's go. Anything you want to say? The title of the video is UFO whistleblower Grusch threatening Intel blob so much to try to destroy his. Threatens Intel. I think let's watch the video.
Intel blob threatens Intel blob so much it should have had a that, but since they don't do, it seems, education anymore properly, they tried to destroy his career.
Oh,
you know, that's his character.
So yeah, David Grusch is such a big threat to the intelligence
blob. The
Yeah.
you know the
They tried to
community
destroy.
that
Okay, okay. All right,
yeah, the
let's go.
community, the community of it. They have a good community cameo. They stand together. I'm gonna ask you to pause to make some of my fun comments. So there will be moments where
Sounds good. It looks like
yeah.
yeah, my space button is working again. You remember last time I was having struggles with it, and I just tested it. Now it's back to
everything is coming together in this episode. Everything is working. The space button, the internet is good so far. Oh shit,
sure.
I jinxed.
Yeah, don't jinx it. Okay, let's go.
The Pentagon's UFO reporting hotline is still nowhere to be found. After first being announced last year, some witnesses say they feel forced to turn to Capitol Hill or other groups to share stories of their alleged sightings, while others state it discourages them from even attempting to flag incidents at all, according to Politico.
Pilot Chris Van Voorhees, who claims to regularly see, quote, self-luminous orbs in the atmosphere, said, quote, there's an immense amount of data that could be collected out there from general aviation or commercial aviation pilots that are afraid to come forward at this point in time. He said he has not reported the incidents through an official channel because the methods to do so are obscure. He added that if he did report what he has seen, he believes it would, quote, fall on deaf ears. So that's really shocking. It's become very difficult for people who see things to find an official channel to report to. But coming from an aviation pilot who regularly sees strange things, for him to be so confident it would fall on deaf ears is also shocking. Especially the way, I know, Amber, we're paying attention to this. We've seen whistleblowers be dismissed by the general public, by people who are journalists, who should be reporting on what's being said in these congressional hearings. And
sorry, I just had it by journalists, by scientists, by academics, by anybody who's like past the basic cognitive test. Sorry, go ahead, play.
I mean, I don't understand what they want. Report on what? It's being shown on TV. They're showing it. I mean, you know, what are people going to write in an article? Okay, he says that he knows that there are people who know this information, right? I mean, I mean, how are you going to write that? Okay, you write that once, twice. I mean, what do you want to do? It's kind of like the same thing as Saagar. They're like, oh, why is nobody reporting on this? I mean, he said that in previous videos, not necessarily this one. I'm like, are you guys not the journalist? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
like, go report. I don't know. If you know why don't you go break it and become the most famous person ever?
On it now at the moment. It's like, you know, it's kind of like the freedom of speech thing on Twitter, that it's I don't have freedom of speech on Twitter. It's like you just posted that tweet X. So what are they talking about? No, but I think this is like the extension of that whole niceness woke, not really, but you know, wokeness has that in it, culture that we have to acknowledge everybody's truth, I suppose, including the people who are just
now
completely
listen,
out of their mind.
I mean, the only one thing that for sure so far that said I would agree with, like they say there's no proper reporting channel, or like it's obscure, it's unclear how you do it. Yeah, that I can sure see. They're probably like, you know, that you know, write on this piece of paper and put it in like this box, or like you go tell your supervisor who has to get permission from, I don't know, that I believe that, you know,
so you
things could be done better. But I mean, some other stuff that you hear, this guy,
you believe them that there needs to be a complaint, basically, sort of a box that
and that they haven't delivered on the fact that they would do one, sure, on their hotline
what
reporting.
I think that
I wouldn't call it a hotline. That really does not make it, you know, that I feel like that does a disservice. UFO hotline, yes. Yeah. Okay. And what did it look? Okay. Was it white or black?
Man, these people, I mean, they are genuine, like, I mean, it's just so bad that I'm becoming like the goddamn conservative sort of thing I used to hate, but I'm becoming that. But you remember they used to say it like they haven't done a real job or something, or like they don't seem to have even seen people do a real job or something. You know, like you always read news reports that police, if they announce like a child is missing, or serial killer is out there, and give us tips, then every crazy person basically calls, and it just leads to more Can you imagine if they put just call this number if you've seen a UFO? I don't know, man. It's gonna
no, for sure, definitely not a hotline. Like, fine, set up an email, and you have to send some kind of
you have to write
footage or something.
I don't know, but
let's watch some more. And I mean, if this pilot says he sees it all the time, okay, next time at least take a camera. Let's at least start with your footage, okay?
Take your phone with you. All right, next.
You're a pilot on a plane. You're not driving a race car. I'm sure you can take a photo. Like, it's not a Formula One.
At some point, I have no idea. I don't know. But
tell the co-pilot. No, of course they'll have a moment. I mean, they get to go to the bathroom. So, I mean, it's not like you have to non-stop be holding on to the plane.
I guess they have in the jets though. They go on.
Oh, jets. Okay. Oh no, but this guy's a commercial pilot, no? That they're talking about.
Jesus
okay, sorry.
Christ,
maybe I'm talking shit.
I had no idea.
No. Hold on. Did they describe it?
Shit,
we have to go back. No, we have to go back. You're right. Sorry, I thought this guy's
a commercial
pilot.
Care, man. Who cares?
No. I need to correct myself. I'll take this back. Hold on.
But this time play
incidents at all, according to Politico.
Pilot Chris Van Voorhees, who claims to regularly see, quote, self-luminous orbs in the atmosphere, said, quote, there's an immense amount of data that could be collected out there from general aviation or commercial aviation pilots that are afraid to come forward at this point in time.
Okay, so that's what confused me. No. That guy, they didn't say that he's a commercial pilot. But that guy says even commercial pilots see it. Okay.
Would know.
I got it out there. Okay, let's go back.
It's okay. Who cares? Calm down. It's fine. But play.
Sam, I hold myself accountable here. Okay.
Way too much. But
let's go. Let's play now. I'm gonna play now.
She makes a really funny comment at minute 2:26, something like that.
Let's go.
Not only that, we have people like Michael Schellenberger public to this. We've seen whistleblowers be dismissed by the general public, by people who are journalists who should be reporting on what's being said in these congressional hearings. And also, not only that, we have people like Michael Schellenberger, who is investigating and corroborating what the witnesses that talked to David Grusch had said. And so what we have now is this situation where reporting from The Intercept is talking about David Grusch's medical records, talking about a psychiatric detention, where reportedly he said something along the lines of wanting to kill himself or be killed to his wife, something suicidal, which is not something that casts any kind of doubt on his testimony before Congress or what he knows from the military and intelligence community about UFOs. It seems like a really sad attempt to call this whistleblower crazy for talking about aliens.
Yeah, I think that's right.
He's not even talking about aliens. Don't make it worse.
To balance.
She even added aliens. He's talking about UFOs. Okay, no, he did. Yeah. No, he mentioned that there's a pilot.
Can you go to David Grusch? Can you go to David Grusch's picture to our thumbnail thingy we made?
Oh,
yeah. To the point that So I think it's fair enough. You can't say somebody's crazy based on his, he made a comment that he's suicidal or something, and we get into the details of that thing. But you can make a comment based on his testimony to the Congress that he's crazy. Did you see his testimony, ladies? Did you? I don't think they saw the testimony. He was talking about interdimensional beings and she says you can't call somebody just because they mention aliens. I was like, I've been saying this to you. See, this is camera. This is where, did you remember? I've been saying to you for at least 2 years on this show. Like, what is the limit? When are we gonna put like some standard that, okay, if he says this, we're gonna put him in a straitjacket and send him to a mental asylum? What do you mean? We can't say he's crazy if he talks about aliens. No, what can we like? Then
based on my understanding,
anything.
Based on my understanding, right? David Grusch everything that he's saying that people have told me these things and I'm telling you, right? Like he hasn't shown like even like emails or anything, if I'm not mistaken, right? I think
he's not even saying that I saw any.
So he's saying people told me this, right? So it all comes down to believing this man's word without any kind of proof or evidence, right? Or not even like one thing, right? If I'm not mistaken. So it's just about believing what he's been told. So in that case, I think it's extremely relevant to know someone's quote unquote, like, I guess, state of mind and mental state and background. Because I mean, in that case, I mean, if I show you this iPhone, right, I'm like, this is an iPhone, and then you just start questioning my mental health. No, I mean, okay, that's irrelevant. Go play around with this iPhone and figure out if it's an iPhone or not. But if I'm just telling you something is based on that only, that's why I found his reporting and the topic that delves into very
I didn't understand your iPhone example, but
because the iPhone example, because at least there's the iPhone. Like, forget about my mental state of mind. Like, you can go and check this iPhone for yourself.
If it's real device, if you claim there is a
like I become irrelevant. But in his case, he's extremely relevant, his mental health, because he's just making claims about things that he's been told without providing any other means of verifying what he's saying.
Oh, sure. And generally, like mental states of most witnesses, I guess anybody like who, people write books about the mental states of philosophers. I don't know what is like, what is this like? No, they should report the UFO thing, but don't go too far. Don't go too far. You got personal there. What is this like? I mean, everybody is a goddamn ethics teacher. It's just ridiculous. Except nobody wants to put any and again, please somebody clarify to me. So if somebody starts talking about aliens coming to Earth and all that, and you can't say he's crazy, what can you when can somebody say something and you say this is
he might not be, maybe he's telling the absolute truth,
he might not,
and but
maybe exactly. I'm just saying it's a very wrong,
and you're right, he might person.
Why you like a war with
more? I mean, they're clearly not doing anything. Like I told you, they have no impact on
planet, if
so,
they are, so if there is contact,
we'll just get to talk about it.
I mean, I'm worried about a disease transfer or something like that, But besides,
whatever happened, you heard the Brazil story. In that case.
You're right. Katerina did not catch any disease.
Pick this up as if it's fucking. Oh my god!
For people who don't know, check out Joe Rogan. Some guy shows up and tells a story about 3 girls meeting an alien. But at any rate, so it's just, I'm not saying that he's even wrong. I'm just saying that it's completely reasonable to say that he's crazy. That's a completely reasonable response to his claims.
To say or investigate, I guess, actually his
that's
records,
true. But now go to minute, I think 6 of this video, or 6, and it gets
I'll
really
play from 5.
fun. Or maybe I was being conservative with 6, so I think
5:30.
6. All right.
6.
No, it's good, but it goes into a different angle.
We would have an extreme shortage of officials to serve in the military and intelligence community. It's just absurd to report on this in a manner that would discredit David Grusch in any way. I don't think it's of public interest that David Grusch was ever suicidal or struggled with PTSD. It has nothing to do with what he's speaking about as a whistleblower. It has nothing to do with why he's in the public eye right now. And to me, it seems like this really kind of shady journalism that is not done to expose a necessary truth, but is done for clicks because David Grusch is in the news cycle right now, or worse, because military and intelligence officials would very much like you to, and they've promised a relationship to give you tips in the future in exchange for a hit piece on this guy that they really want to stop talking. It just doesn't feel like good and honest journalism to me. And I think anyone that's been following the issue of UAPs and UFOs would say the kind of journalism that Michael Schellenberger did in corroborating a lot of these stories with military and intelligence officials about the craft and potential pilots that we have is the kind of necessary investigative journalism we need on the topic, not slandering David Grusch's mental health.
And what's really interesting about the Intercept's involvement in this is that the Intercept really gained prominence by being an anti-national security state paper which was really in opposition to places like the New York Times and the Washington Post, which were basically stenographers for the intelligence community. And now we see that The Intercept has basically fallen into that trap as well. It's one of the reasons why Glenn Greenwald left the paper a couple of years ago. Meanwhile, on the Texas front, scientists have appeared to discover the true identity of a tiny UFO creature. Texas nature trackers reportedly found it dangling. According to Cron, the species is a bagworm. Texas Parks and Wildlife spokesperson Laren Johnson said bagworms, which are made of silk and plant material and are created by a caterpillar as it grows, are common in Texas. After a photo of the creature was originally shared online, however, some are questioning whether it was a UFO. So again, there does need to be healthy skepticism of some of these claims, probably many of the claims, honestly. And I do think that with this congressional hearing happening this past week and some of the whistleblowers becoming more prominent in popular media, we probably are going to see a rise as well in some of these.
Okay, so after all that saying, don't be skeptical about anything. Okay, yeah, no, but you should be skeptical.
About 200,000 people have online claimed to have found a UFO. Then scientists came out and said this is a picture of an ant farm from a very close angle, and then they were disproven. So yeah, maybe we should have some skepticism. No, but you were completely right about, like, man, this is, people are getting, like, it's so funny that,
man, did you see the comment section? I just went on it quickly, like, the level of agreement for this. I mean, it's just like the breaking point.
Yeah, that's the thing. People are
useful tool. Yeah,
people are loving this, man. They're finding goddamn silkworms and saying it's a UFO. What? Like, they're finding like things in their garden. Oh my god, it's I think this is some alien technology. The blue doesn't seem earthly blue. It seems like, oh, it's a glass. People are looking for something, it's kind of like, Bernie, Trump, all of that. People are looking for a savior, and now the UFO thing is working. But now I think it's now we can get into the.
And isn't David Grusch himself part of like the intelligence community or something? So I guess Intercept reporting on him is not okay. I guess now he's going kind of against it, but he's a government worker, right? I mean, he wasn't. I don't know. He wasn't a philosopher or.
No, right? Kamir, you don't. Kamir, you don't.
How do you write his name?
I think, yeah. Well, you don't understand. It's exactly like those two girls. When you talk
former intelligence official.
When you talk about journalism, you are not part of the journalism community. It's just like that. When you talk about intelligence services, you yourself is no longer part of the intelligence service. You have some weird perspective when you I mean, it's just unbelievable.
I'm telling you, this story, I keep on getting confused and doubting myself. I'm like, wait, what are we talking about? Did I miss something? Or like,
yeah, it's like every day, it's breaking news. In CNN, finally, we are speaking about UFO. And it's like, you spoke about it yesterday. I saw the program. Yeah. YouTube writes down the dates you publish these videos, you motherfuckers.
But yeah, so let's go now to the real thing.
Let's get to, I mean, this is for people who haven't seen, who are watching with us for the first time. I'm sure there is about one of them. This is a great example of journalistic integrity and human curiosity, leading humanity to new pathways, new arenas of knowledge, of excitement, of all that. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I loved it. I don't know what you thought before.
Yeah, no, it's so much fun. It's so good, and it was extra satisfying because Ken Klippenstein got to talk back too, and they were talking, so it was fun. Now, I mean, I wouldn't go as far as people go in the comment section, making it seem like Saagar was standing up to like the Roman Empire by himself, like without like anything, not even without a shield or nothing. Like the way they praise Saagar.
So Saint George Saagar over there.
But they were right though that he asked whatever questions he wanted, and he was allowed to talk back. So it was fun.
Man,
it was fun.
I mean, Ken Klippenstein, by the way, I dislike quite a lot his work generally. Not, I mean, I don't know him, but in this interview, he came across, I think, as very bad as well. As I mean,
Really?
I think everybody, I
Okay.
think
I
everybody
look
came
forward.
across
Let's
as
watch it
terrible
again.
in this video. So yeah, I think the dynamic, just before we watch, is Saagar is the curious child. Ken Klippenstein is the bully, sort of, that bullied him when the mom was not home. And now Crystal is home, mom is home, and she's trying to balance. Okay, I know what Saagar is curious. Okay, he wants to know about spirits and aliens. I meant aliens, not a spirit. Yes, alien. And Ken, you need to stop being so mean. Sorry.
Too funny. Too funny. All right, let's watch this.
Accusations are flying as journalist Ken Klippenstein has published a new report for The Intercept saying UFO whistleblower Dave Grusch, who recently testified before the House Oversight Committee, was at one point referred to a mental health institution following 2 911 calls from his wife in what Grusch says is a PTSD-related alcoholic incident. Grusch and his associates initially accused the intelligence community of leaking non-public health records to Klippenstein, who has since revealed he in fact retained access to this information by Freedom of Information Act requests. Resulting dramas got both sides. They're accusing the other of not telling the truth to the public about the situation. So we've got Ken Klippenstein himself in the studio now. Join us defending his story. It's good to see you, Ken. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for coming in, Ken.
Great to be back with you guys. All right, Ken. So let's get into the...
Caught me off
Just
guard there.
just before watching the video, I wanted to say, look at Ken's face. Definitely did not see the backlash coming. I think just go a bit behind. He's just, the whole interview, not just here, but the whole interview, he's put on this baby face. I didn't do anything wrong. I did a FOIA request, and it turned out he's crazy. He's mentally challenged. So I mean, he's just doing the whole interview. I don't think he saw the backlash. He's so like, his intelligence services, I don't like him. I just wanted to know more about his personal life. So fun.
It's good to see you, Ken. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for coming in, Ken.
Great to be back with you guys. All right, Ken. So let's get into the nitty-gritty, I guess, of the story itself. Let's start broad strokes. What is the story about? What is it?
Well, so he's kind of the star witness of the subcommittee that's looking at the UFO allegations. Not just him, but there are 2 pilots as well. And so in the reporting on it, I noticed a phrase popping up again and again: a decorated war hero, decorated war hero, decorated war hero. And I'm not disputing that he is. But when I hear that, it's kind of like, okay, well, where's the critique? Like, where's the negative side, or where's the vetting? And I didn't see any of that by any of the media. So I thought, well, I'm going to go and look and see what I can find. And so I know people both in DOD and the intelligence community, and I did a call for tips to try to broaden the picture. It really just came from a mosaic of different sources that gave me ideas of what was going on. We can talk about that more. But really my motive was just, it didn't feel like anybody was vetting this guy.
So lay out the specifics of the story and what you found through your FOIA request.
So under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, you can request police records. They're called detail records, CADs, obscure things that aren't kind of like the typical police report that journalists tend to ask for. And maybe that's how they didn't know it existed. I have some practice with FOIA. I've been doing this a long time. So when I got these back, it was 2 different incidents reported by his wife and previous wife, in which he had gone, in the second case that was in 2018, I think, he had gone into it's described as like an angry, drunken rage where he was suicidal, asked his wife to kill him. She called police, said that the guns were locked up, and then he was placed in a mental facility where after he was assessed and then released, I think, a day later.
Got it. And this happened 2014.
Yeah, first when they said he said that he had suicidal thoughts or something like that, I was like, yeah, everybody at some point they get drunk or something. They say something. Then they're like, yeah, there were 2 incidents with 2 different wives, it seems. And he was like, yeah, this is getting,
And again,
not exactly
they're not unique, and they're nothing to be ashamed of. And a lot of people have these problems, nothing to be made fun of, nothing to mock about. And that's whatsoever. What is PTSD as well, which we get into. And that's like half of the comments, and people are just like, oh, you're PTSD shaming and all this. No, of course. But the fact that his mental state is relevant to this story, I don't see how that's up for dispute. But
yeah, for sure, especially like somebody was in the military. And I mean, to be honest, I do think a lot of people do exaggerate their PTSD claims too.
I mean,
and
it's a different topic. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, that's a different, yeah,
generalization, but sure. And yeah, what do you mean? But yeah.
I mean, we don't know. That's the thing. But it definitely is. We know there are due to PTSD or alcohol or whatever.
Or just anything, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is, by the way, not like 2 decades ago. This is right before, like 2 years before 2019, I believe. They specify later.
18 was the second time.
Was the second time?
Yeah, so 4 years.
This is like 4 years
yeah.
before, 5 years before he comes out with the, you know, this is like somebody suddenly had a mental breakdown and then they became a born-again Christian. Yeah, I think there may be a connection there. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, not that necessarily is, but could be.
2018.
Both. Yeah.
Okay. So there's been a lot of back and forth. Grusch accused you of getting these things leaked by the intelligence community. You revealed it came from the Freedom of Information Act. You did a Twitter space last night. You indicated you were tipped off by this. So were you tipped off by members of the intelligence community?
It was both the Defense Department. I mean, again, it's a mosaic. You talk to as many people as you can because you don't want to be dependent on any one individual who might have a grudge or whatever it is.
Tipped off.
But yes, I did talk to both DOD people and intelligence.
So in terms of the substance of the tip here, the accusation, I mean, aren't they fundamentally correct that like you are publishing dirt that was tipped to you by intelligence community?
Well, the thing is, when I put out my call for tips, I said, if you have anything positive
or
negative,
sure.
Because at the end of the day,
like,
I don't want to, you know, he's a human being. I don't, to be candid with you guys, so people can account for where I'm coming from, I don't believe in the.
Man, this is like, reminds me, like, I'm just my drift to the right is getting really extreme because sorry, when you covered Epstein, what was that? Can somebody tell me what was, you know what, it's just like they're on politicians.
No, but they're doing the kind of childish blanket thing of like, oh, everything mainstream media says 100% is wrong. Everything official says is always like 100% wrong. They're taking, a lot of people are taking this kind of approach to the story, you know, and again, it's not like this one thing that he followed up and looked into is going to make and break the whole either David Grusch's story or, you know, the whole aliens and UFOs. But to claim, as they're really going to get into, that this is so irrelevant and like as if, you know, he just published a video of him doing laundry or something on the intercept is just yeah.
No, yeah,
that's what I found really funny.
Yeah, I guess.
The UFO stuff, I think he's incorrect about it. However, I don't want to just punch at him. I would have included anything positive that I had gotten. Unfortunately, I didn't get anything. Now, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have, you know, redeeming qualities. Everybody does, even me. But I just didn't happen to hear any of that. And so I had to go with what, you know, I was told. And to give you guys a sense, too, I can speak to the characteristics of the sources because I understand why people are concerned about that because most of the reporting that you read is planted. When you go to the New York Times, most of those stories are planted by committee chairs, by the White House, whatever it is. That's not how I roll. I know I tend to talk to mid-level people, people kind of like Grusch, GS-14s, GS-15s, people who are experienced but didn't quite have the political chops generally to make it to the top. So those are the types of people that I was talking to. Just full disclosure, if you want to ask anything else about sourcing, I'm happy to talk about that.
Yeah, so I mean, basically you're being accused of like, this is a smear job. You're trying to undermine his credibility. What did you see as the value of this information? Do you think that the fact that he has a PTSD diagnosis makes him...
If this wasn't his friend, Saagar would have attacked him here. Not attack him, but something worse, like throw acid at his face or something. like seriously, look, he's about to...
It's like, motherfucker, look at those faces. Look at his face.
I've never seen him this intense. He's gonna throw his coffee at his face, I swear.
That was so. Yes, I'd give King Klippenstein a bit of like, you know, just leeway because I would freak out. I said he's like drinking water like crazy.
He has 2 mugs for some reason. Fashion.
Somebody told me I had no idea. I talked to mid-level people. I So he's about to bring out the chains, and then I love how Crystal is like, "Look, Ken, they're basically calling you a deep state lizard. What do you say to that? They basically say that you work with the deep state lizards that fuck children, and you are now one of them, and we should burn you in our studio. What do you say to that? And Ken is, they just told me, I just asked, it was a completely organic event. Nobody told me to look into this. Hilarious. This is
Watch
good.
a bit more.
More likely to lie, make things up, and less credible in general?
No, absolutely not PTSD. But, you know, in the police reports, his wife called him an alcoholic and said that this happened repeatedly. That, I think, is a concern. I think that if someone's an alcoholic, yeah, that should be factored into your assessment of what their credibility is. But
Right, but if it's alcohol related to PTSD, I mean, let's be serious. I mean, he in sworn testimony, he admits he had a problem with PTSD. He says it was, I mean, I'm assuming he's related to these alcoholic incidents. He got treatment per your own reporting. And all of the incidents he's now testified to, sworn testimony as well as a whistleblower, is post-treatment. So I'm just trying to understand, like, what is the value of this information being put forward? And to be clear, you didn't do anything wrong. You're doing your job. We get crazy.
So he just put the case in forward himself. He's like, so yeah, this guy, you know, has PTSD, alcoholism, but, you know, then he got the treatment. So, I mean, that's case closed. I mean, it's as if that doesn't exist. It erased it. It doesn't mean that, okay, he got a bit better or he was able to cut. No, he got the treatment. So why the fuck did you bring that up? Don't ever talk about my mom that way, okay?
It reminds me exactly of their favorite author's excuse, Epstein, Chomsky, sorry, when it turned out he was, I had dinner with, you know, he was a convicted sex offender, but he had gone to prison for about half an hour, I believe, and he had served his time.
And
so,
people knew about it, so it was out there.
So
yeah, you're right. So
live in a country, you do your time, you come out, I have dinner with you.
Too funny.
But man, I mean, play it next 30 seconds, and Saagar does that another time.
Yeah, this is
the part he's doing right now. Play another next 30 seconds, then stop. The part is like telling Ken that he's completely okay with this.
Crazy tips from people all the time here. So I have no issue with the Freedom of Information Act, even if you did report it, even if you did get a tip from the intel community. I guess it comes down to like the framing and the substance of like, what are we supposed to do with this information?
Was bullshit.
Well, I included in the story an example of the dozens of White House staffers who had their clearances revoked for smoking weed, including in states where it was legal.
Right.
Places where it's legal. So like this is part of the clearance process. And so again, this whole focus on PTSD, and if it makes him not credible, that was never something I said. That was a focus that he made trying to get ahead of the story in the statement that he put out. My interest was always the alcoholism. And I mean, I guess I feel as though there's some kind of grandstanding around this stuff, because the reality is if you're going to say, get a medical procedure, go see a surgeon, you find out he's an alcoholic, it's probably going to factor in your deciding somewhat, right?
Right. Well, I mean, is he an active alcoholic? Do you know that?
We know that from the reports his wife said he was.
Okay, in 2018.
Yes.
But we don't know anything since then.
No.
Right.
So can you...
Pause.
I don't know how he thinks the mind or body or these kind of things.
No, I love
like
the fact
work.
that, did you? This was the most sort of mob bossy interview he's ever done. So let me, in the beginning, just say that I'm completely fine with this. I have no problem with Freedom of Information Act and stuff, and I love it. I love the fact that you looked into my past and looked into the wrong things. Well, go ahead. So how'd you know that? He doesn't let him finish any sentence. So what? Is that how you got it? Is that how you got it? Okay. All right. It's just this is where I think Crystal calms him down a bit. Yeah. Sorry, just wanted to point out the mob boss.
That was too funny. Going over how he's okay with the 101 of journalism. So I'm okay with you, writing and getting information and all that.
And being allowed to breathe following that writing is also surprising, but it seems to be allowed. There was a time you would find a brick on your chest at the bottom of a river, but now you're allowed to talk about this.
Can you speak speak a little bit too? Because
Couple of-
part of the piece you talk about how, you know, in those instances you had White House staffers fired, that there is this, you know, very onerous procedure to get and maintain your
That's
security
risky.
clearances.
Yes.
In this instance, you know, they knew about these police interactions and what had happened with regard to his wife at the time. They knew about the allegations of alcohol abuse, all of this stuff, and yet he was able to maintain his clearances. Do you read something nefarious into that, or is that an indication in his direction that, listen, they knew everything and they still thought that I was trustworthy enough to maintain these very high-level secret clearances?
That's what he said, and I think there's something to that, but there's also something of a boys' club. I don't mean in a gender way. I mean in like a...
Okay, and nobody said because of his alcoholism he shouldn't be allowed to leave the house anymore or something. They're like, okay, they allowed him to go to the grocery store, right? Yeah, so therefore everything is okay.
Senior level
she's
people
saying,
tend to look
no,
up.
no, but she was asking a question though. She was saying that he's saying that I was so trustworthy, even though I was completely mental. They're like, it's okay, you need to know this. Come on in. You are such an expert. Come on. We need to talk about the green guy. Come in. Even though I was a mental case. I needed to. So yeah, that's I guess.
And I think one of the other girls highlighted that in the other video, in the Rising video. She's like, a lot of people in US government and military have these issues. So fair enough. Maybe if you use that criteria, you know, you would really not have too many people to work with.
A lot of people no, man, most people I would say have some kind of a mental issue.
Yeah.
But most
Plus
people don't claim to have
alcoholism.
to have heard people credibly talk about UFOs, you know,
and
or
aliens,
maybe they
right?
do.
I
To
mistakenly
be honest,
said that
maybe they do.
he didn't claim aliens, but he did claim aliens. That's the other journalist who said, oh no, I don't know about aliens. But David Grusch actually says that he's heard, people have told him that they've seen UFOs plus actual alien pilots, right?
No, like he said, he implied the pilot part. He
That
didn't
there
say it.
was
He
a
said
pilot, yeah.
vehicles were retrieved, but where there, and he said where there is a vehicle, there is a driver. Like kind of sort of where there is a smoke, there is a fire. I don't. But
for each other, I
yeah,
quoted someone as saying that, and that was the general frustration of multiple people that I talked to, was feeling like they described this guy as unreliable, and they were frustrated that this stuff that they knew about was not being accounted for in these they were seeing the descriptions I was describing before. Decorated hero. Right. They didn't feel like that was the whole story.
I guess what I'm confused by is you're telling me this, but you don't quote any of these people in the story. Everything, the only facts that you can really attest to in the story are FOIA, and obviously the tip. And again,
a
zero
very
issue
nice
with that.
story,
But don't you think that's
where
the actual
is the
relevant part? I
evidence?
mean, why aren't you quoting people on background and people who work for him who said he's unreliable? You're saying it here. I think that's fine. I mean, obviously,
sure,
it's a public forum, but the way that it's being read, I have to be honest with you. I respect
Luckily,
your
you
work, but,
can
the
kill these
establishing the
days
facts
anymore.
here, it does kind of this is your job. You're basically like, he had a PTSD incident, or he says PTSD incident. He had 2 alcoholics. You quote 2 people who basically say, you know, he's full of it. You only quote 1 expert who says that the UFO hearing is a travesty. And I mean, one of the things I really don't understand is how many conversations we had about Pentagon spinning us, but you're credulously citing the explanation, the 1990s explanation on Roswell, and credulously quoting like Susan Go, who's the Pentagon spokesperson, who said that he's full of it. I mean, why should we believe these people? Do you understand what I'm saying? The establishment of the facts in your story are taking his life.
I think that's a good instinct. You don't want to side with the institutions, but I think you also don't want to reflexively oppose them. I'm not saying that you're doing that. I think that, you know, I have that tendency too.
So many backhand compliments. Sorry, you know, not backhand compliments, but yeah.
The way he was questioning him, it was just like it reminded me of when, you know, the bullies used to have the victim on the ground and use his own hands to hit. Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? Like, it was so, yeah, you know, I mean, it's completely fine to write about this, but then you write this bullshit and then you write this nonsense added to that bullshit. I mean, Crystal, can I fuck him up? Can I please, Crystal? Can I fuck him up?
But fine, if Saagar wants to say, oh, you know, how do we know these other people are not talking bullshit? Sure, fair enough. If that was his only critique, sure. But his main thing is, you know, why didn't you draw UFOs all over your Intercept article? And I love UFOs. That's
no, he's
no. I mean, no,
he's very
no, because he has such a position on this story. You know, it's almost like sect-like his belief in this. He's like, okay, if you don't overall believe the UFO thing and care for it the way I do, then you're wrong.
Yeah, but no. He, in this case, though, he's saying that you are being extremely one-sided towards David Grusch. That's his main thing. That's his
fair enough,
stuff. But I love how. So on the substance of the thing, I have a theory though. I think, to be honest, based on the information we know so far, this guy had a mental breakdown, and then he seems like an attention seeker type guys. And then I think after his mental breakdown, it happens to like he thought this is a quick way to money, or like he became crazy and and I'm sure, to be honest, there are lots of people in the military talking about UFOs, but maybe it wasn't in his security level to know the UFO was like a Chinese balloon or some shit. I don't know. Yeah. So I'm just saying that's probably his case. But now I think there are definitely people in the intelligence that are feeling embarrassed and just they're like, oh, our community has become a laughing stock because like one of us is just going around talking about interdimensional beings. So they probably contacted this loser to like, yeah, maybe you could do he's not very, they say decorated. They don't say decorated with what?
He peed in the sink, like Brendan Shaw.
Yeah, exactly. He's in the sink. Maybe you can talk to his PA, perhaps. So I think that's probably what's happening. I don't know. What's your theory?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so, possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, it is true. I mean, yeah, in the sense that I guess mainstream media is laughing also. They're not really laughing at the intelligence community. Maybe more this guy. Yeah.
Man, I feel like mainstream, to be honest. I mean, Saagar and all these people are mainstream media, blah, blah, blah. But as far as I can see, they completely embrace this bullshit.
Oh, yeah, I'm just taking their word, actually. I don't even know.
Yeah. From what they're lying. I swear to God. It's like mainstream is a bit more balanced than this bullshit Saagar has going on of, they are definitely real. We just don't know if they're green or,
That's
gray.
the only thing.
We have not really confirmed the skin color yet. But they're real.
Again, these are not monoliths. The DOD, I'm not talking to the public affairs officer, I'm not talking to the senior executives. I generally try to go out and get a sense of like the mid-level kind of like rank and file people.
You're using the mid-level as if they're working class.
I agree with you. I think
you're doing exactly. Right like,
and you always, and I've always,
the local shop.
But I'm like, why aren't any of these people quoted then? Why aren't you quoting these people?
Well, essentially, the reason that I did the FOIA was because they're kind of describing it as unreliable. I'm thinking, well, do I want to just use the sort of innuendo? Can I try to substantiate it? And if you look at
so here, Saagar's asking why he went for actual documents.
Tell a more honest story. You talk to the politicals, and it's just.
I agree with you. I think you're doing the right thing, and you always, and I've always, I've stood by a lot of your work, but I'm like, why aren't any of these people quoted then? Why aren't you quoting these people?
Well, essentially, the reason that I did the FOIA was because they're kind of describing it as unreliable. And I'm thinking, well, do I want to just use the sort of innuendo? Can I try to substantiate it? And if you look at the FOIA request, you can FOIA. I think I posted it too.
You did.
I asked for a whole range of things. So this idea that I was being pointed at one specific event, that's just not true. People were describing things to me. It sounds like there's certain themes. I go on Nexus, which journalists have, and so you can find their home address. The home address was not furnished to me, and then you can just file a FOIA, and I did it for like 7 years. And so that was what came back. So there's no sort of like, so I guess.
But anyway, if you look into someone's record and medical and police record, right, only bad stuff are going to show up, of course. I mean, there's not like, okay, he behaved very well from this. Like, you're not going to come across that, right? Like the good stuff you always know because it's either in the person's status at the military or you literally do though in the military and all that. Like, right, you get this, you have your degree and all that, sure. But if you go look, you're not going to find good stuff. He was a very good boy from the age of 8 to 12.
Look, he had 3 decades of being very nice. Then he murdered 5 people. Then we had another decade of being very nice. This is not like your life is not something you can
He did not check in for rehab from 1960 to 2000.
See, for the first two decades of his life, he did not do anything wrong. No major crimes.
So yeah, so I mean,
But-
I don't even. So this part of the conversation is a bit funny. I mean, he's never gonna find good stuff by looking.
No,
into
man. But that
his
the part
beliefs.
you were I mean, this guys, the part he's talking about the mid-level management. He
Yeah.
keeps talking about, I didn't talk to the top guys. He wasn't. He thinks like, because they think deep state is just basically 4 people, and they probably think they're Jewish as well or something, like in a room or something. He keeps saying, yeah, I just talk to mid-level people because mid-level CIA is much better than the top CIA. I mean, it's famously in this organization, most of the power is in the mid as well. But anyways, putting that aside, it shows their type of thinking of American left, and generally West left. It's like Matt Stoller, another fucking contributor that comes on Breaking Point all time. That the small businessman versus Amazon versus Google, because the small businessman is much better than the Google and the Amazon. I take Google and Amazon over most fucking small business people, by the way. They're much more prejudiced, much more reactionary. But and then it reminded me of what they say about all the Marvel superhero movies, or like the philosophy of Marvel movies is basically we want the bad guys, but we want the bad guys to have a better HR department. And it seems to me that literally that is their philosophy. That's we just want the mid-level management to be a bit better off. And, the workers.
Yeah, that's just like a strange thing he keeps on bringing up.
This might answer your question. I'm not trying to be evasive. Like, I did talk to intelligence and DOD people, but the way in which that influences the reporting is a little bit more subtle than I think the discourse gives credit to. It's not like they're pointing you at one specific thing. They have to give you a sense, and then you use that to go and use other methods to try to substantiate.
I don't want to belabor the point, but just so I'm clear in my head of kind of the timeline, you were seeing the coverage of this hearing.
Yes.
You took issue with the fact that, a lot
of. So,
okay, I don't know if there's much more.
She just,
I love that. She pissed me off there. Like, okay, so you woke up, you peed, you turned on the TV. Walk me through your day.
She was negotiating she was saying, listen, look, Saagar, tell him again. So he woke up, he gave the F4, then he contacted the generals. Not generals, sorry, mid-level. Not generals, mid-level, working class CIA agents about the spirits. Not the spirits, sorry, aliens. Don't get angry, Saagar. So stop fighting and let's go back to presenting the petty bourgeoisie. Okay. Sorry.
And then here's funny. Here's all the comments I'm referring to. I've never seen some journalists holding other journalists accountable like this. I thought this was phenomenally respectful. God. This is peak Breaking Points. Thanks for holding people accountable. This is a masterclass of journalism by Saagar. I mean, he didn't do journalism. I mean, if you want to say that was a masterclass of an interview, sure. But like, I mean, he did an interview. I guess maybe
he looked into the 2 tweets, over 2 tweets he read fully, and one article.
This felt like real journalism.
It felt like that sounds right.
And some are saying that that's actually good. So he was an alcoholic when he came. That's positive, my good.
It's the confirmation bias they call it. But this is to an extent though work of algorithm, man. Fucking the people complain so much about negative comments that just algorithm either deletes them or or doesn't put them up. So there is that. No, I'm not saying it's just that. There is obviously people who like Breaking Points, watch Breaking Points mostly. There are some masochists like us.
I'm kind of scared of the UFO mob. I'm glad it's only an online phenomenon. I have yet to see it in real life because there seems to be a lot of them. Get outnumbered.
Man, it's with a lot of things, UFO, transgenderism and stuff. I'm genuinely starting to appreciate the religious mob because at least I know these people. We we appreciate their traditions, their craziness. These new crazies, they don't have any structure.
But at least they're much more
customs.
But they're also more limited to the online world. Or do you think
I
they're
don't know,
out
man.
there? I don't know.
No, I think they're growing. That's the thing. They're a growing trend. You don't want to add to the crazies you have, do you? Like we have the religious things and all that, and we managed to deal, like we've established the system around it and all that. Okay, now adding these new things, I'm just saying, you don't want to add to that. But you're right. They are.
But they're harmless.
They
I mean, the UFO ones have
for
always
now.
existed, but this is my first interaction with, to this extent, UFO community on YouTube.
Being
right?
accepted
Because, I mean,
by
of course, for a lot of
mainstream.
people are into UFOs. Yeah, and that too. But
Yeah, sure. No, I've never,
I think it's been a long time it's been accepted, like more or less in that sense. I don't know. And there's a controversial story because it doesn't hurt anyone. I mean, it's a really good story if you ask me, if I was in US government. But I mean, that's my interpretation, I guess.
What do you mean? I felt you were a story, it would be a good story.
I mean, if this is the thing that everybody would be digging in or looking into, I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean,
what if you
don't bring up the economy and so just
no, what if you had what if you were on a payroll by the aliens to transport children to Mexico and from Mexico to their planet? Like, you don't think about this.
That's
this is
true.
the type of thing people are thinking.
But
this is the type of thing deep state is involved in. All right.
Listen, I want to wrap up this segment with the proof and evidence that I had promised. Shall we move on to that?
Oh, yes, you had some hard evidence. Yes.
You ready? So
yeah,
it comes from a comedian, but hold on, who talks about somebody else. But listen, that's okay, by the way.
Come here. Comedians as Jimmy Dore and other comedians are telling us these days, they are the truth tellers of our generation, the brave truth tellers.
So maybe it is.
It's the best source ever.
In this case, though, I agree with this guy.
Okay.
Let's go. We'll watch it like twice since like 2 seconds.
Fair enough.
That man told aliens because Trump didn't mention it while he was president. Like that man told every secret. Anything they told him, he told us in an hour. Like, they would be in the room with this man and be like, "You're not gonna tell anybody, right?" And he's like, "No." And then he leaves and he's like, "Folks," like that was. He could not keep a secret at all. He had the leakiest White House of all time. It's hard to believe in aliens because Trump didn't mention it while he was president. Like that man told every secret. Anything they told him, he told us in an hour. Like, they would be in the room with this man and be like, "You're not gonna tell anybody, right?" And he's like, "No." And then he leaves and he's like, "Folks," like that was. He could not keep a secret at all. He had the leakiest White House of all time.
Man, good enough point if you ask me.
The most
I'm bringing
point.
it to my next alien debate.
Do you remember when they
Watch
told?
This video. Okay. Convinced?
Yeah. Do you remember when they told Trump that we can't leave Afghanistan? There is $3 trillion worth of minerals under there, and he immediately tweeted it or in an interview said, "No, yeah, I know. In the election, I was saying that we should leave, but they told me there is. Did you know?" He was like, "You shouldn't go there. Do it." No, I guess, but the argument, playing the devil's advocate, they would say they never told Trump.
Oh, you see, I'm not smart enough on this topic. Keep on laughing, Cam, at the topic. Yeah, keep on. Yeah, no. Good point. Okay, now I don't know. Now I'm back to
back. Saagar is right. Ken, why did you write this article? Why did you write this piece of shit article, Ken? Who did you think you are? You questioning David's mental state. Who do you think you are, Ken?
Oh, this topic is too funny. But
it's amazing. It's more fun than, I have to say, the whole usual global warming genocide type thing that is going on.
Okay, I was gonna press play there. Sorry, never mind. Let's first introduce the video. So unfortunately, we have to move on from UFO stuff, do a little bit of geopolitics, starting with this mini deal that you had mentioned earlier on, Sam, between US and Iran, and Trita Parsi's being questioned. Very, very, very good questions being asked of him and the deal.
Unbelievably detailed and fantastic questions.
According to them, they're not journalists because journalists are not writing about it. So they would have included themselves if they were. So by these two ladies, however, I guess.
By these two, I guess, outside of they're doing it's kind of like off-Broadway type situation. They're doing off Washington journalism.
No, but fair, an interview, right? They're interviewing. So that's fair. Interviewers, as I mentioned.
So this is about the recent prisoner swap, potential financial swap between Iran
and don't forget the 6,000 billion quadrillion trillion. That is, you can do whatever you want with it, you know, like anything you want, just anything, you know, go buy all the candy you want, anything, whatever it is. You know, Iranians
you can buy land with it, you can buy cars with it, you can buy girls with it. Oh no, you can't buy girls with it. You can't buy girls with it. Shit. Sorry.
But yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves, maybe, as I just did there. Maybe let's play a bit, and Trita will also explain what happened, of course.
Of course, Trita Parsi is the expert they brought on. And I just, before watching this video, I want to say, goddamn poor Trita Parsi, man. Why do you have? Don't put yourself. Do you think these motherfuckers pay? I don't think they pay.
Yeah, and like, and the views, they're not bringing him new audiences.
Do you think, like, I doubt.
I mean, like, of course, it's part of his job to go. I mean, anyway, he goes on 9 minutes and he's doesn't let it bother him. I mean, after one of their questions, which I thought was just like, oh my god, he thought it was good. So actually. The one about Mossadegh.
He has to, but he has to say that kind of like he's Iranian, man. He's polite. He has good like manners. That's what the Iranians do. Like they ask you the stupidest question, and you're like, yeah, very okay. That's a very good point. But he's put himself through this, and he gets shit like this, like from all like sides. So I don't know why he does this.
Yeah,
but
let's watch it.
Well done. Yeah.
The Biden administration brokered a $6 billion deal to exchange Iranian prisoners for 5 Americans jailed there. First reported by the New York Times on Thursday, the swap hasn't happened yet, but the agreement between the U.S. and Iran comes after 2 years of quiet negotiations.
National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby talked to CNN's Jake Tapper about the deal. Let's see what he had to say.
There's not going to be a ransom payment. There's not going to be Americans. Our country counts.
Institute for Responsible Statecraft. Now, Dr. Parsi, I always welcome American hostages coming home, but $6 billion is a lot of money. And according to the top advisor to Iran's negotiating team, they can spend this money however they want. What do you make of this deal?
Well, first of all, the Iranians may say some of these things because of their own domestic political reasons, does not mean, however, that it is true. It's also extremely important to note, this is Iran's own money. This is not American money that is going to Iran in order to essentially pay for the release of these wrongfully imprisoned Americans. Rather, this is Iran's own money that has been frozen, and it is unfrozen and goes back to Iran, as well as some Iranian prisoners in the United States. That is a prisoner exchange. The Trump administration has done those as well as previous administrations have done. And I think at the end of the day, when Americans are coming home who have been wrongfully detained, I mean, this is essentially hostages. That is something that should be deeply welcomed.
How much are the tensions between the U.S. and Iran today shaped by the coup of Mossadegh some years ago?
Well, the coup of Mossadegh, which were
that was so random, no? It's like, okay, this very specific thing has happened now. So going back 80 years, how important?
Do you remember
8
years ago?
Yeah,
no,
80 years.
Much 8 years ago, 53. It was 1953.
I mean, again, it's
going back 8
related.
years ago when America was there. Do you think it has to do with us? Because it's all about us, right? Maybe it's related to us. No, shape. No, man, it's just Yeah, I mean, this was the stupidest question. Like, I have no idea how Twitter
No,
like kept
of
her
course,
cool.
an
I would
hour-long
have just
podcast, sure. In the 40th minute, you reach this question, right? If like this was a podcast, not in a 9-minute interview on a specific piece of news. Your first
And
question
even-
is something historical. It was just funny. I mean, again, it's related. I mean, it's not. It wasn't like. It wasn't trying to
it's-
undermine the story or anything like that. The question. It was just
Man,
insanely random.
it was like, exactly, it was just like saying, you know,
What
the
it mean?
dispute over the dispute in Taiwan. Then suddenly somebody says that, how much of this do you think is because of the American missionary work in China? Do you think in 18th century, do you think that that has consequences that is still playing in the Taiwanese conflict? It's like, okay, maybe,
I'm sure it does. Of course it does, but we'll get there.
Yeah, let's calm down. But yeah, we know, we all get it. You read Mossadegh. You heard the Mossadegh name once in a social science class or something. Chill the fuck out. Sit down. Like this, she's awful.
But then she asks, and then it's her turn, and she continues in her previous line of questioning, of course. So let's watch a bit more.
Closer to the 70-year anniversary of it is when the United States, together with the Brits, the CIA, and MI5, conspired and got rid of Iran, stage of Iran's democracy, and reinstated the Shah. This was a huge mistake by the United States. It set back Iran as it was moving towards a more democratic situation, and we're paying the price for it till today, because this is something that the Iranians are deeply aware of. Most Americans have probably never, ever heard of it. But bottom line is that this really set the stage for the US and Iran to increasingly move towards becoming enemies rather than being allies and friends as they were earlier on. But it does not explain, of course, everything that is happening between the United States and Iran.
Fair enough. He's like, sure, answer your historical question.
Yes, that is also you, good girl. Good girl, you did your reading. Yeah, no, but he's I don't know if Trita Parsi really still believes in this stuff or not, but he's, you know, the liberal side of him is coming out that Mossadegh was going to limit voting franchise. He was gonna, if you couldn't read or write, you couldn't vote. He was trying to do that. The parliament stopped him. Mossadegh was like FDR, sort of a Bonapartist figure, as they say, and I liked him. I think he was pretty good, but I'm not, you know, I'm not romantic about him, or you know. And in fact, the thing I like about him is the fact that he wasn't a Democrat. He was very much sort of an Iranian conservative. He was really an Iranian conservative. He was pro-monarchy. He was himself from the old monarchy. He was a grandson of
pro-monarchy, like, of course, with like he didn't want to get
monarchy.
Yeah, so
he was,
like with a parliament and a prime minister.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But very much he believed in there should be a king. Like, but limited, just the symbolic thing. He was very influenced by British and, to be honest, Swiss. He studied in Geneva, I believe, or Switzerland. He was the first Iranian to get philosophy or law PhD or something. First one or something. Anyway, at any rate, so, and this is, but I don't know if he still believes this, or this is part of Iranian strategy. I've always, like, Iranians always do this, that they overplay the influence of the Westerners. I feel like, I mean, 1953, he's overstating the British and American. Like, they played a crucial role, but it was a very complex situation. It wasn't just some American project and all that. And I mean, this is a highly debated and controversial topic, by the way. But this sort of, I think there is a huge overplay by Iranians always. I don't know if it's a strategy or they believe it, to be honest, of American influence. At any rate, we get to more funny questions from the other.
So I think one more, these are two more.
Is there any concern that a deal of this nature could incentivize future kidnappings or hostage taking of Americans? How do we make sure that giving, or freeing up rather, this $6 billion doesn't show Iran that kidnapping Americans is a profitable industry?
What?
Well, research has been done on this
Kudos to him
extensively.
to
Some countries have
this.
a policy of not doing prisoner exchanges, etc. And bottom line is, doesn't make a difference. It's not what actually is motivating this type of hostage taking. What is, unfortunately,
$6
is the
billion?
sad state of relations between the United States and Iran. If the relations were in a much better stage, these things would not be happening. So if we truly want to bring Americans home and end this, the U.S. is improving the relations with the once that is done, I will more or less go away by themselves.
Play her next question.
How much of American foreign policy making would you say is shaped by this approach that I think we take with Iran quite often, which is
are they carrying
this kind of approach where
interviews in parallel simultaneously?
Yeah, exactly. Pause.
With fact, Rome had
Okay, I was going to play her question. Yeah, no, it's here.
Yeah, go back to play her question. But before that, yeah, man, this is so difficult. Trita is making two-dimensional chess right now. He's like, okay, so we have one interview here. Yeah, Mossadegh was good. Yeah, yes, that played a role. Yes, also, don't panic. Don't panic. Their money, it's their money. It's not your money. Don't panic, okay? Yes, you are right. Our foreign policy is bad. But also, no, this does not play it. Calm down, okay? It's okay. It's not your own bank account being empty. So, yeah, exactly. He's doing 6 different things. Poor guy. Anyway, I don't know. I hope this was edited.
Would have been quite different from what it is today.
Dr. Parsi, do we have more information on the background of the individuals who are potentially being released under this deal?
That wasn't fun.
No, play. No, that's funny.
Are you talking about the Iranian individuals released by the United States?
No, play.
And vice versa.
Oh.
Well, when it comes to the American...
I mean, come on, Trita. Why would you think she is Iranian individual? Do you think she has ever thought about any individual outside of USA? She has not. It's not possible for her. So, well, like, I love that Trita genuinely for a second thought. Do you mean Iran? Oh, you don't mean it. The Americans, they are, I guess, they're nice too. Yeah. It's hilarious, by the way. By the way, poor guy, man. He has to keep saying this hostages stuff. He doesn't say this hostages stuff. His video gets subtitled in Persian and sent to every Persian WhatsApp, Iranian WhatsApp sort of group, whatever. That, oh, look at this defender of Islamic Republic. He is defending as he is telling them, give Islamic Republic the money so they can kill your children at your home. This poor guy is just like, I don't know what, like, he's getting shit from literally every side. Nice.
Yeah, I think he has it much worse than the UFO people. That UFO community, this is different.
David Grusch, this is next level, man. Yeah, he has to in one interview, he has to deal with both sort of anti-American imperialism and pro-American imperialism while taking shit from Iranian government and Iranian public. It's like, it's like the worst job in America, this man.
Okay, let's move on to Pakistan, Sam.
Oh, yeah.
And so, so what's the latest? What's come out? Some documents have come out showing that the U.S. played a role in the ousting and the coup against Imran Khan. And
I think you should play the video, but before that,
this one?
But before that, I just say that the source for this. So Intercept, after they ran their smear campaign against David Grusch, the truth teller, the David Grusch, the honest Abe of our time. After they run their smear campaign against him, they revealed a much less important story about a much more insignificant thing, Pakistan. And potentially the fact that the US may have suggested that, look, if this guy goes away, we won't be too sad or something along those lines. So now play the video, I think.
This is weird. These videos never work.
With respect to the comments that were reported, I'm not going to speak to private diplomatic exchanges, other than to say that even if those comments were accurate as reported, they in no way show the United States taking a position on who the leader of Pakistan ought to be. We expressed concern privately to the government of Pakistan, as we expressed concern publicly about the visit of then Prime Minister Khan to Moscow on the very day of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. We made that concern quite clear, but as the former Pakistani ambassador to the United States himself has stated, the allegations that the United States has interfered in internal decisions about the leadership of Pakistan are false. As we've stated, they're false. They've always been false, and they remain false.
So this is a fascinating case study, man, because one of my degrees was history, and if you look at British influence in southern Iran, and that was very much extension of a British presence in India. Sort of they were the British that were in southern Iran for a long time, except till the end they were under the control of the Viceroy of India, not London. And it's really fascinating when you read the diaries of the people, the what do you call, the princes, the princelings they were in contact with, and they would give money to for land and that type of thing. And it was really funny because it was like, and the British in the beginning probably didn't, but after a while they started understanding what they were doing. And what they were doing was, for example, I come to you and I express extreme concern about this new sort of local police officer that you put in charge of the city that is doing this campaign against corruption. And this is my concern. And I don't have to say. And then you read the diary of the princeling that the concern was expressed to, and he's like, okay, they're gonna do a coup d'etat, they're gonna kill me and skin my family in front of my eyes. I need to change this guy. I need to change this. We need to stop this guy. So there is a bit of a, you don't have to say a lot of things. I'm just saying, I assume nobody goes around saying we need to change this guy, we need to do a coup.
Yeah.
Just say it would be very glad if he just disappeared.
No, of course, a lot of these things are often not said explicitly, or they're kind of implied, or you just understand the situation. Like if you're in that world, you kind of understand. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I mean, usually, I'm hearing things like that. You pick up on things if you're decent. Yeah. But
so yeah, that's so. But he's
aliens didn't. Did David Grusch play a role or not?
No, he hasn't commented. He does not have any information on this.
It's a bit annoying.
But yeah, it seems he seems to be going down though. His support seems to have somewhat, sort of, fanned out, as they say. I don't know what's the term.
Who's Imran Khan?
Imran Khan. Yeah. No, I'm not talking about David Grusch. No, David Grusch's support is gaining ground every moment. Okay. In India, by the way, India also is, Manipur is devolving into civil war pretty much. So that's nice, following the ethnic tensions. So that's that. And in UK, I have something which is really. Did you see this? It was amazing, man. Read the title and then play the video.
Those responsible for Oxford. Okay. Those responsible for Oxford disorder should be hunted down and locked up. Whoa, says Suella Braverman. So they're referring
whoa was Camille. That's not Suella.
So actually, let's watch this video so everybody knows what we're talking about. But pretty much, apparently, a bunch of people tried stealing from a bunch of stores simultaneously, right, on Oxford Street.
Yeah, there seems to be organized shoplifting efforts organized through evil social media apps, mostly TikTok. The most evil, the Chinese one. Oh, goddamn. There's Albert.
Not the most insightful video, I must say.
I had a better video on Instagram, but I can't fucking log in right now, so I couldn't. But at any rate, I'll try to send it through while I make. Well, did hear about it? You're based in Europe. Did you get any invitations to any
No.
shoplifting? Are you added to any WhatsApp? This is shoplifting, like Geneva. It's like, I don't know. Has the movement reached the shores of Switzerland or not?
No, not that I have heard. But I mean, I don't know. In England, I've just seen like such funny things of like shoplifting and theft. I don't know why, but it kind of reminded me of this other video. You remember in London there were some protests? I don't know, like 5-6 years ago.
The Tottenham ones?
Yeah, I can't remember what they
riots?
were. Yeah. I think it was probably those.
Yeah.
And then pretty much, so this became a big story. You probably heard it. But there's like this Malaysian exchange student, right? Who like falls down, right? Like when people are running and all that, he falls down. And then like 2 or 3 like English guys, they're helping pick him up. So you look like, oh, they're helping him up to get up and all that. And like as he's getting up, like there's one just like very casually just opens, he has his backpack open and just going through it and taking the stuff and all that. And it just like went so casually, and then you're like, what the fuck? So he just gets robbed there. So I don't know,
sounds like
a lot of theft videos that I've seen from England.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I saw when I was very young, but I remember seeing pickpocketing in Paris, but I haven't seen one in London. So
Pickpocketing, the biggest worry of
somebody running.
Boomer bourgeois traveling to
Oh,
Europe.
come, all right. There was, man, I've told you this story that one
They'll
time.
take your shoe, they'll take your underwear off you without you knowing. What? Why?
Yeah, your
Sure, go
underwear is
ahead.
very valuable.
No, I'm joking. I mean, I'm always careful too. Of course, it can happen, but I mean,
I've had money put into socks and then sewed into my socks, or sorry, into my underpants. That's
What?
the level of traveling very young. When you travel very young, you need something for emergency.
they'll just put you in a bubble.
I mean, for just like, it wasn't like a crazy amount, but just in case if I lose everything, there was always a, $50 there.
You should tell
But
your parents.
yeah,
You should ask your parents to reinstate that. You're like, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, to be honest. I think they assume I do it myself. Go to your. I just sent you an Instagram. There was a better video. Well, I mean, it's not much. It's just people,
You sent it to me on
cops.
Instagram?
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's not it's not very great like content or anything. It's just a much more, probably a bit more violence.
Oh, I mean, I might as well just quickly check it out.
Fair enough. Did you ever do shoplifting as a kid, like a small thing, without?
No, at one time, I guess when I was a kid in Dubai, like every now and then I would steal little candy from a big supermarket. And once I was doing it casually, and my dad did it, and he flipped out. But
your dad saw you?
Yeah, and he got really
you
angry.
My dad did it.
My dad saw it, flipped out. However, at my university, my first campus, so like the cafeteria and like the whole way they ran that I judge it to be immoral and a theft, and I would just steal from there like on a daily basis. I hope this never comes to haunt
From our
me.
school cafeteria?
My university, the first 2 years.
Okay, why is that? No, that's from university. Come on, man, that's not theft.
Huh? Yeah,
No,
I guess. And especially not there, because we were on this campus that was remote. You didn't have access to supermarket. You weren't allowed to use a kitchen, right? And you weren't allowed to have a microwave. So you had to eat at the cafeteria. And the entire money that I would put in there, like the amount that you could put for a semester, it would finish in like a month. So I would always very casually, like every day, like go buy like a sandwich and a drink, and then also have a sandwich and a drink in my pocket and just go like this. So, but yeah, it was they were the theft. They were the thieves. They were the thieves.
Oh, for sure.
Taking stealing money like that from people.
I meant from like a shop. From a shop, sort of, that there is somebody who might be held responsible.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like if somebody uses money. No, never. That's the thing. Yeah, and I feel so angry about it these days. I'm filled with resentment because I found out everybody was like shoplifting chocolate bars, and I never did that. It just pisses me off so much. If I knew I could get, the only reason because I thought I'm not gonna get away. I had no moral qualms about it, by the way, but it just pisses me off so much.
You know, some friends of ours in high school, they used to steal from Toys R Us,
including me. Yes, yeah.
And then they actually got busted.
Yeah, they got. Did they get busted from Toys R Us?
One of them, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Parents called and everything, but yeah.
What did they steal? No, what was the
games? They used to steal games.
Oh, video games. All right, that's. I mean, in Dubai, it feels like you're always stealing from a thief, so it's kind of. It feels. I know, like, but no, man. I mean, I know for a fact, at least, one Zippo was stolen by one of the people we are talking about.
All right, let's watch this video and then wrap up this segment.
Criminals. We were friends with criminals.
All right, so this is a video of the Oxford Street rampage.
Hundreds of people attended a mass shoplifting flash mob across Oxford Street in London that had been advertised on social media. Police on horseback and officers armed with batons flooded the area, and running street battles followed.
On horseback?
Plans had been shared mostly on TikTok, according to the police. Some called it an Oxford Circus JD robbery. Posts advised people to wear balaclavas and gloves. One said, "Don't come if you can't run." The Home Secretary says those responsible should be hunted down and locked up. By late evening, police had arrested 9 people and issued 34 dispersal orders.
There's police on a horse, man. They, especially police horses, they usually use big horses, It gets really scary.
I guess, I never thought of it that way. But okay, all right. Let's take a second and move on to our last 2 videos here. Alrighty, Sam. So let's move on to Vaush versus TYT. But I actually hadn't realized that the Vanguard boys had covered Saagar and Ken Klippenstein. So I think I'm just gonna have to watch that.
Really?
I literally just realized. What do the Vanguard boys say? I have to know. This is my biggest concern now.
I have to agree with you. This might be one of the most important stories we covered. Let's see these two. How do they handle?
Do you want to first watch the Vaush TYT thing quickly? Because it's actually not that juicy. Actually, there isn't. It's.
Yeah, no. Let's leave that to finish off. Then
we'll come back.
Jimmy Dore RFK is not very juicy either.
It's okay. I have to watch this.
Wise,
Let's go.
I feel like
I'm gonna focus more on what they say. So let me see. I'll try to fast forward.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this leaves us plenty of time to get into the debate, the contentious debate, dude. And I love this because
I actually have no idea where they stand on this. I haven't heard them once.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think they're gonna be more on our side.
Think? That's the thing. They
and
come out
Ken
with...
Klippenstein. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna pick more Ken's side here and kind of more chilled on the UFO thing because I've never really heard them talk about it, and I would doubt that there will be like a Saagar kind of person on this. That's my position.
No, I think you're making the right choice because I think they don't like Saagar because of obvious reasons and all that. And
well, hopefully it's not due to that.
They did and right wing, left wing thing, and then so. I don't know though. These guys.
They could surprise you. I wouldn't bet the house on it. That's for sure. I would say like 60-40 or 75-25. I'm giving you a good chance that it's no. Okay, so let's go.
Because obviously Ken Klippenstein and the folks at Breaking Point have a good relationship, and this just shows that even in the big leagues, you can have like a contentious discussion with people that you disagree with, and it could be respectful. And it could
move on to the aliens.
And this is the kind of disagreement that I could imagine myself and Gavin having if we were to sit down and like really debate the UFO issue.
You know
what I mean? And then So anyway, I watched this. I immediately thought of Gavin and put it in the folder
And
because
it's
I was
not
like,
jokes.
this is something we have to
It's
discuss.
just like
yeah,
commenting.
super excited to get into this one. I also watched this on Breaking Points yesterday and was riveted by the conversation. I was not expecting it to get so spicy. But yeah, we've been talking a little bit about the UFO stuff here at the Vanguard. I know that Zach is a little more skeptical. I'm usually the one that plays the role of the believer. But yesterday, Ken Klippenstein posted this report on The Intercept called UFO Whistleblower Kept Security Clearance After Psychiatric Detention. And basically through a FOIA request, Ken Klippenstein found out that David Grusch, who's the UFO whistleblower, basically has had some like alcohol issues and a few like sort of psychotic episodes. At one point he was suicidal, seemingly as a result of PTSD from serving in Afghanistan. That also likely inspired his bouts with alcoholism. It's unclear if Dave Grusch still struggles with alcoholism or if he's sober now. But either way, that's a little bit of the context. Saagar was not very pleased with Ken's report here. And
Saagar said he got treatment.
You know, kind of result in a bit of a debate, a little bit of a contentious back and forth.
Yeah, and shout out to Ken for coming on and defending his reporting, right? A lot of times reporters will be like, this is my reporting. You can't poke into them and say, no, I'm willing about the context. And for what it's worth, Ken, he's been taking some shit from the UFO community about the house. I saw his address floating around on Reddit. And he...
Did you also see him trolling everyone saying that The Intercept let him go?
Oh, no, I didn't see that. But
so this tweet the other day being like the internet.
Okay, well, guys, going off topic.
It's like neck and just
cap, and we'll argue about fucking alien.
It's become unbearable, their show, man. Really. That's why I don't watch
we can get back to this with all of that out of the way. Let's take a look.
Let's see their first reaction here.
Like a rash off of who said what? I don't know. Ken Klippenstein, long career as a credentialed journalist, broken some pretty big stories. I don't know. What say you, Gavin? Does this seem like the kind of guy that would mislead the public?
No, I don't think anyone is claiming that Ken has misled the public at all. Like, he clearly just published facts that are available to the public via FOIA requests. So I don't think that's really the issue here. And to be fair, I don't think that Ken did anything wrong, like morally. Like, this is information about this guy who is making extraordinary claims. I am happy to know more about him. Like, it's not really something that I view as like invasive or anything like that. Like, if you're gonna put yourself out there as this whistleblower who's making extraordinary claims, like, yeah, I think you should expect to have your history dug into a bit. That doesn't seem like super out of bounds to me. Right now, what I will say is that I don't think it's quite the shocking breaking bombshell that some people are acting like it is, that a dude who served in Afghanistan and is a
sensible stuff, it appears.
Yeah, it's
not unfortunately. Can
not
they
too funny.
No.
Not very funny.
Disappointed. No.
But maybe Zach says something crazy. Maybe he says, no, I think the green men are here.
Veteran has PTSD. Like, that's not a shock to me at all. I would be more shocked if he didn't have PTSD. I would be shocked if anyone that served in the in conflict in the military didn't have PTSD. Like, I literally don't know how you put it. So that's not shocking to me. Like, I could have told you. I could have told you that he had PTSD and probably struggled with alcoholism at some point in his life as a result. That's, the story of many vets, unfortunately. So I think it's, I don't think
that downplays a little bit of what this guy was going through, though. You know what I mean? Like, the dude, his ex-wife said that he deeply, I'm just saying, we'll get into it a little bit more, but I think that there's a huge effort to downplay how being an alcoholic, and also, like, guys, I am a bartender. I've spent a lot of time around crazy people who severely struggle with alcohol addiction. I do not come at this from a way to vilify this man. I do believe that it is a mental health thing, and I do believe that this guy is entitled to and deserving.
I can't.
But yes, I was right.
They are all about finding a victim and maybe I'm the good
But I also gave those disclaimers at one point because I just wanted
I didn't like it. I did not like those.
It's like a disclaimer that should just appear like pre-written at the bottom of the screen. Cam does not make fun of cancer patients.
But this cancer patient. This one is funny.
Sometimes you have to give a little heads up. But okay, should we go to the Vaush TYT stuff?
Yeah, Watch TYT and the RFK Jimmy Dore thingy, which that's the one I saw from
That's
the
more
Vanguard boys. I
interesting,
thought
really.
that's the one. Maybe we can start with that since we are on the Vanguard boys, and then go to Watch thing. Or you have more comments on the RFK thing?
No,
whichever.
yeah, no, this is more interesting.
So, which one should we start with?
Well, let's start with this one now, and then we'll finish with Vaush.
All right. So, did you see they played a clip from the Jimmy Dore interview with RFK, the interview in which, in a very surprising and truly shocking turn of event, RFK came out as a homosexual and announced his love for Max Blumenthal. He kept saying, "I love Max Blumenthal. I love Max Blumenthal, but you know, we shouldn't talk." Don't give me your number. But besides that part of the interview, which caught everybody's attention, there was apparently another part regarding Medicare for all. Maybe we can go to the Jimmy Dore.
Yeah, no, I want to play a bit
RFK
here. No,
bit.
let me just play a bit here. I think Zach, I think it's here, or if not, I want to play you. I think he does actually one pretty funny impression.
Oh, that's it. No, go ahead.
But yeah, let's hear Jordan.
At like 7 minutes before my wife screams at me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, let me just play this clip, get your quick reaction, and then you can get out of here. I was just going to say I've been really depressed by the progressive movement in general and the fact that it seems like a lot of people are just giving up on or abandoning Medicare for all. We talked to Vaush recently. He said it was cooked, that we basically should, stop even fighting for it. It's not politically viable anymore. But we all remember Jimmy Dore, force the vote. This guy, he cares about Medicare for all. You guys remember him yelling at politicians for not showing up to their local march for Medicare for all. You remember him scolding the staff of Medicare for all, which, made me super excited. Candidate Robert F. Kennedy on the subject of love and expect.
Well, my
Dore show.
You would guarantee health care for everybody in America? Well, my best option would be to do that. I don't think that you can do that all at once. And I don't think, and I can tell you this, that is a battle that I think is polarizing.
He's the worst type of politician.
Is, because the power of the pharmaceutical industry and the power of the medical cartel, that it's just, at this point, it's too much of a heavy lift. So, you're never going to get there. So what I'm going to focus on is things that I can actually do, and not
as opposed
things
to
that I'm not going to be able
as opposed
to
to defeating the deep state.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's an easy task.
You could do that. That's what you're saying, but you couldn't.
Well, no, I don't even know if you could get it to a at this point. This
whoa.
Whoa. My choice.
Man, he's just
giving begin with a
Biden Democrat excuses.
He just got put in
while pretending that he's different, which is what annoys me the most.
No, it's just Democrats recently got really honest and we're like, okay, we are not giving you healthcare. Okay, fuck off. All right, take a hike. All right,
but he's saying the same thing too, except he's pretending that he loves it.
Yeah.
But he's saying the exact same thing.
Yeah. He's doing the old-fashioned.
I would like to help you out, but I can't.
We'll go and talk to the Congress. I really, if they give me a thing, I'll maybe sign it. if they put, if I'm legally obligated to sign a thing that they passed, I'll do it. I'll do that. Yeah. So I love how
so hard.
You're making a public option then, and he was like, "Oh, whoa, Jimmy, let's go now."
I mean, Jimmy Dore, of course, the whole point of this video that the Vanguard boys and Jordan here too is that Jimmy Dore doesn't push back, but he claims journalists should be always pushing back. He's push back, but I mean, he's doing all these things with his face, but I think, that's not enough. Like, if you look at his expression of his face, he's like, he acts like disappointed or like kind of pissed off or like, oh, whatever.
No, but
come on. But he should talk back. Facial expressions alone are not enough in a debate.
That's the thing. That is the face. That is.
Next time, speak.
Exactly. No, this is the face I make pretty much at everywhere I go in Iran these days, because this is the face you make when you don't wanna there's no point in talking and stuff. And he's this big eyes become big and mouth is kind of shut and you are slightly shaking to different sides a bit and all that. But yeah, from him it's surprising, that's all. But yeah, he's thinking I was thinking in his head, he's thinking, yeah, the comment section gonna rip me apart for this, aren't they? Yeah. Well, anyway,
let's watch a bit more here for a second. I just want to show you something.
The kinks to make sure that people like, you know, I'm on how I'm running on how the Palestinians are criminals and how the Jews are immune to COVID-19. And that's it, Jimmy. That's it.
That was funny, no? That was funny, especially before that. That was a good one. RFK Jr. says that, yeah, I'm not running on healthcare, so don't bother me.
Because what I'm running on are issues that I think every American is going to be able to get behind.
Yeah, so he says that I'm not running. He's like, that's not part of my, you know, I'm not running on that, so don't ask me about that.
No, it's insults by proxy. It's like, I'm running on issues that matter, you know? I'm running on issues that are, you know, feasible, not for crazy. But no, that was a good impression. The jokes were a bit too simple for my liking.
Yeah, but the impression was good.
Yeah,
I'm running on how the Palestinians are criminals and how the Jews are immune to COVID-19.
No, the COVID-19 part is funny. I'm running like two super specific things.
Yeah, that is okay. Yeah, that's no, you're right. It's a good joke. It's a good
and that's it, Jimmy. That's it.
Because it almost is like that. His like issues are like Wi-Fi.
It's almost
war in Ukraine only, funding of that specifically. I haven't heard him talk about other ones. And
not even
Fauci and COVID specifically, nothing else to do with medical.
Yeah,
and
do you think? I think
those are his main things. Those are his things. Like, he doesn't run on issues. He runs on, I don't know, like specific something. I don't know how to put it. On events or incidents. Okay.
He's running on issues that no. But yeah, you're so right. Super specific. Do you think the Fauci thing? Do you think like Fauci fucked his girlfriend or something? Or something? Like so specific. He's like, you know, like from 2012 he has books. This motherfucking Fauci. I will find him. I will kill him.
No, there's
Fauci. If there is one guy in 20, like this election is about, like his future is decided in this election. Fauci. If I were Fauci, I would definitely go to Venezuela before the election, or wherever has no extradition to US. Because if Republicans get in, you're fucked. Or if some Democrats get in, you're fucked. So yeah. Anyway.
Funny.
But but oh, sorry.
Yeah,
wait,
sorry,
wait.
Go ahead.
Play. No. So what do you think? Do you think he has any thing right? Sorry, I'm just looking for my notes, so I have to kill some time right now. But yeah, do you think he has some points in saying that it's not a? Do you think he has some points in saying that it's not an issue that has popular support?
Oh, no. It's not even important, he says, like he thinks, pretty much. That's what he said. So he's not even focusing on that, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, that's ridiculous. Everybody cares about healthcare one way or another.
It's important to Americans. That's what he's saying. So it might be insulting.
Right. You need to have a public option during that period anyway. Oh, you know, that's how I do it. I'm not running on that issue. Because I'm running on are issues that I think every American is going to be able to get behind.
I mean, Americans would find this topic and issue important. Everybody, I've never met somebody who doesn't find healthcare or hospitals or things, whether they want more privatization, less privatization, that I don't know, or their insurance prices lowered, but yeah, I mean, because he doesn't have a position, right? He doesn't. No, at one point he says, "What does he want to do?"
No, he likes public option, but he in the other interview I've seen him for the Medicare for all, he's like, no, I want to talk to economists and see what they say, and talk to maybe a couple
well,
of
now is the
tarot.
time. There's
Go
nothing.
to a couple of tarot readings. see what the palm reader says about my fortunes in that area. But did you hear about the
No, it's like
update
funny.
about
It's like, yeah, you have to do your research now. Once you're the president, it's called the executive branch. Okay, it's not like you don't start looking into the topic. Then you're supposed to arrive with a plan on what to do.
According to some reports, he's promised to open up a chicken's stomach and see what the entails will tell him to do in the future. So there is that, and he believes that's a very good form of science. But did you hear the update about the Max Blumenthal debate he's gonna potentially do? Did you hear that? So do you remember last time he said he's not? He said he's not gonna. He said he's gonna do it. Then he said he's not gonna do it. Then he texted Jimmy that he's gonna do it. Then apparently his team has come out and again
Said
to Max or somebody said he won't do it. But he apparently emailed Kurt. He emailed Kurt, Jimmy's sidekick, and told Kurt that he sent an invitation to Max's MySpace, which is such a tricky move, man. Which is such a tricky move because he knows Max has forgotten his password to his MySpace, so he can't go and RSVP the debate thing. So he's gonna win by default, basically.
Wow. Which one do you think there's a higher chance of happening? Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, or?
That's happening in Italy. You should go, man. It's near you. It's happening in Italy. You have to become an
Elon Musk sent the most random stuff. Spoke with Italian politicians. They're in.
We booked the Colosseums, guys. We booked the Colosseums, the ancient Colosseums.
But yeah, I mean, sure, is it somewhere where they put on shows? Yeah, okay, so he booked.
No, I would love it if they do it in the Colosseum with the tigers and they bring in a real tiger. It would be amazing. But you should definitely go. You should definitely be there
if it happens.
The live, like you do the Joe Rogan thing that he does. When he's off the podcast, whatever that is.
Commentating.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so to finish off,
this wasn't as
you didn't
fun.
like this story too much? Didn't find it too much fun? No,
I mean, because Cenk definitely ruins it with just how fucking
man. Okay, let's be honest. It seems clear to me and everybody, including Vaush and everybody else, that just TYT seems to be like one of the most sort of safe, reliable terms you can use with the algorithm.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
You shit on TYT. So I'm just trying to include more TYT sections. I know it's boring. I know it sucks.
No, I don't mind. I have fun. I'm just saying Cenk is just so lame as well.
Yeah, Cenk is awful, but yeah, at least it's fun.
A bit here.
Yeah.
Let's get into this, guys. We had some more TYT Vaush drama. We've been talking about this for a couple days now. I have to switch over to the Screen Fans Twitter to show you guys what's going on, because as you all know, Anna blocked us on Twitter. So I got to go over here. Oops, and there went the link. So let me reload that page real quick so I can show you guys some of the latest escalating attacks on Vaush coming from Anna Kasparian. Here's a good one for you guys.
Anna's video.
This might be the funnest. What was that, Zach?
Oh, yeah, just reminding everybody this is a DIY home broadcast, guys. This is the authenticity that you signed up for.
Right. So here we go. Someone posted this, and this is a point a lot of people, ourselves included, were making, being like, you were just talking to Ben Shapiro, not just talking to him, but having a polite conversation with Ben Shapiro where you were talking about like, oh, I think you're actually one of the more reasonable people on the right wing. And, just like how you're one of the more reasonable people on the right wing, I'm one of the more reasonable people on the left wing. I'm not with these crazy lefties, these radical police abolitionists and trans activists. No, I'm one of the sane lefties, one of the silent majority. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people were pointing this out.
Which is an actual Reagan slogan, in case anybody was curious.
Right. So yeah, a lot of people were pointing that out. You're garbage, Vaush. I don't respect you, which is why I don't want to talk to you. Meanwhile, she talks to Ben Shapiro quite politely in a very civil way. So Anna responded to this, and she says, unlike Vaush, Shapiro never once called me retarded or a bitch over disagreements. That's how big boys who don't snort addies during unhinged streams act. I don't owe anyone a conversation or debate, but I especially have no interest in antisocial creeps like Vaush. Simple. Vaush responded to this with an absolute banger. Oh my God, get ready, guys. He says, Anna is now insinuating I'm a drug addict, presumably because she's so terrified of me that in her mind I'm beginning to take the form of the thing she fears most, a homeless person.
That's funny.
Mic drop. Mic drop. Oh my God, that was fucking hilarious. I saw this last night and I almost spit out my beer, bro. I was like, oh, this person's off for just called her out.
But
go to the video,
yeah. But yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, play the video, but I think, to be honest, yeah, everybody is awful here. So I don't have
No,
side,
Cenk is particularly... Oh my God. Look how lame he is.
The
Grifter Manual. 1. Attack the young Turks for something obviously ridiculously wrong, like we're right-wingers or establishment shills. 2. Personally insult one of our hosts to make sure you got our attention. 3. Pretend to be the victim. 4. Say you're more pure in whatever political faction you're pretending to be in. 5. Try to siphon off as much audience for yourself as possible after getting into our algorithm loop or getting us to respond. 6. Become flavor of the week. 7. Go back to having 37 followers. 8. Tell war stories about how for 1 week you got to fight the Young Turks. I feel like Cenk thinks that Vaush is like some tiny streamer with like 20k subs like us.
He thinks they're us. Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah, man, this Cenk guy.
Cenk is no, don't you? Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, man, they're all just awful. I mean, I don't think Anna Kasparian has any I mean, this again, just so anybody's clear, TYT used to publish pictures of people's private parts. So no moral high grounds. In fact, I think they should be criminally liable. I still can't believe they're like, free or whatever. So there is the morality thing. Put that there. Secondly, I genuinely think, I don't know, man, in my experience, when you work in a lot of professional places, actually people do talk very rudely to each other. The higher you go, it tends to become more harsh.
Wait, why'd you say that though?
Yeah, big boys don't call each other bitch or retarded or whatever.
No, I mean, that people don't say. I don't think so. You think so?
Not maybe retarded, but I think bitch and stuff gets thrown around quite a lot in in business, especially in private businesses.
Really?
A lot, I think. Yeah, I think not in a corporation, but I think I think so. I'm not saying it's like a common thing, but I think it happens. It's
sure it happens, but yeah, no, I know.
Make up. Anyway, it's a media thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
no, it's a media thing.
I just want to ask you this: that I think and Vaush is a disgusting idiot, I think. But do you think this? I think this is a generational difference as well. As somebody, and I think you're like me, like being in the exact middle of these two generations, sort of late millennials.
Well, Vaush is not our age.
Yeah, but I think we are sort of, I think because we
were 94.
in Middle East,
yeah, he's 4 or 5 years younger than us.
And because we were in Middle East, I feel like we are closer to late millennials type, situation than these guys. He's a bit more like a late Zoomer. Old
I see where you're going with this.
So I don't know, man. I get the feeling there is a complete sort of a difference in these two generations. One generation is much more like you can be Ben Shapiro, basically a piece of shit, whatever. And if you respect the decorum, they are okay with you. But you can be pro LGBT, blah 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 blah. But if you don't respect the decorum, it's like they are very opposite. I don't know. Do you feel that with the different generations?
No, that's a very kind of good point. And yeah. They are kind of different, but of course, I mean, she's using this as an excuse in order to, because Ben Shapiro also says some pretty bad stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised if she.
Oh, Ben Shapiro is a disgusting. Yeah. He said Palestinians like to live in sewages or something.
Yeah,
He's
so I mean, that's worse than saying.
No, he just says it's. Yeah, but he does. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't use an insult word. He just says, for example, Palestinians are less than rats. But that's like he doesn't use a, I don't know, like a F word or something.
Yeah.
But man, I wanted to tell you this though. My algorithm has been affected with you know, that idiot Lex Fridman and now Vaush stuff.
Did we not have a Lex Fridman video?
Yeah, we had. I thought we played it, didn't we? No, we didn't.
No shit, I didn't open it.
The lion.
Let me bring it up.
Yeah. Well, let's take a break before that. But before the break, I just wanted to the Vaush thing. There is Destiny. You remember Destiny guy? He's goes on Lex, and he does an interview with Lex, and in that he discusses the history. And there was one video, people can check it out. Destiny's talking about his history with Hassanabi and Vaush. Apparently, Hassanabi and Vaush came at the stream, or they were all working together at some point.
Makes sense.
I don't know. At any rate, and he was like, and they were talking about the political differences. And I'm sorry, but can somebody explain to me what are the political differences between Destiny, Vaush, and Hassanabi? Like, they are all the same exact thing. I don't understand. And he was getting so intense. The Hassanabi represents shallow politics to me. I have thought about my ethical positions first. I mean, genuine, like,
no, Lex Fridman guy, he's surreal, man.
No.
It really.
I'm talking about Destiny here right now. But he, by the way, the first principle stuff. Yeah, exactly. Lex was, eating that shit up like, crazy. But yeah, generally, I don't know what they're talking about. Like, what is your difference? Like, one of them is for fully supporting AOC, and one of them is for supporting AOC, like 80%. Like, can somebody explain to me what is the difference between all of Destiny, Vaush? That's like, they're all. It's just what was the narcissism of the small differences?
Something like that. But I didn't see that. But oh boy, Lex. I mean, Lex really pissing me off. I mean, we're gonna take a break and come back. But his nonstop use of like surface level philosophy is so annoying. And the reason I know it's surface level philosophy is because I know about it, and I've only like heard the philosophers that in that like first year of university class that you take, and like the most like cliche idea, and that's all he brings up. That's why I know I know that he has a surface level understanding of just like the big 10. Like, he knows like one idea from like the 10 biggest like thoughts and like ideologies and thought leaders out there. I mean, that's my impression of him so far.
He's somebody who only reads dictionary and Wikipedia pages, sort of type thing. He doesn't really have deep understanding of anything. I would say that I was going to disagree with you in that, he basically says everything that everybody knows before the university course of philosophy. It's just that if you do even one term, like 3 months of a philosophy course, they like, because that's the first thing they tell you is that how much of a bullshit all of this stuff he says are. Like this is a misrepresentation, that is a stupid take you like in the media, this is based on a mistranslation. Like that's the case. Not that we know much or at all anything about philosophy, but
exactly. That's why I know that I don't know anything. That's why I know that just talking nonsense. But okay, let's just come back and watch the Scientology video. Especially, I mean, it's really all about the beginning. The Scientology video. It's the same guest which we covered the other day. All right, Sam. So actually, there's a little short Destiny clip that you brought to my attention, where I guess, Destiny discusses Hassan and Vaush on Lex Fridman. So let's play a little bit of this clip. Should I play from the beginning or anything in particular in mind?
I don't recall exactly, but I think it was in the middle. So just to give you a context, apparently these people had a falling out. I'll play a bit in the middle, then go to Lex's questions. One of them, I think you would love one of his questions. It's just going to fan your flames, so to speak. But play a little bit from the beginning just to give a context. They had a falling out, and now Lex is kind of trying to convince him to maybe, make up or something.
Positive stuff, negative stuff about Hassan.
Yeah.
This is my podcast. So I get to force you to say positive things. What do you love?
Oh,
I'm all about love.
go back to grilling me on the R word stuff. You're going to make me compliment Hassan. This is going to be a harder conversation than that.
All right. We're going to get you to feel emotions.
Okay.
So he's another, for people who don't know, he's another popular political streamer. I think you had, as the kids call it, a bridge burning over Bernie Sanders. I don't know. My research is very limited on this.
Sure.
But what do you respect and love most about Hassan?
He puts in a lot of work. When he was like growing his stream from 2,000 concurrent viewers to 15,000, he was streaming it was like 12 hours a day, like every single day. So that was admirable. He did a lot of work. He does seem to be pretty good at networking and like socializing and making the correct friends and connections to continue to build his business.
What about him as a political thinker? I know you don't think highly of him on that regard,
really
but I think that's unfair.
I
think that's unfair. I honestly want to push back on that because
I have zero respect for him as a political thinker. There's not going to be almost anything.
So
I will say I admire the fact that through no actual capability or ability of his own, he manages to wind us. But when he's involved in stuff, I'll always say, I think Hassan was right here, or I think that he meant this. There was a thing that came up once where on Livestream Fail, he was getting roasted because he referred to somebody. He used the expression "shit skin." That in the that's what.
Something.
So like that's an example of me being charitable.
But didn't you criticize him for something? I was trying to Googled why the hell you guys split out because I thought you're friends. You should be like
split up over a Kamala Harris video.
Right, go further.
Is that why? Is that the so? I feel like you criticized him over something, and
Vaush because he thinks I'm bad faith, and then neither of them will talk to me because they both hate me.
You guys should go on a camping trip together. It's like Brokeback Mountain but 3-way. And just refine
that could be a
appreciation for each other. Honestly, just from the internet perspective, for me as a
man, he's not even funny, and his things are just so lame. And his question, I'm not going to be able to do much more Lex Fridman.
Yeah, I know it's so annoying, but this is his one thing he has, that Putin and Zelensky. Can you go on a camping trip? Maybe we get them in a room together, order some McDonald's.
And if really he thinks this is what's holding back, and really if people would just talk, all problems will be solved. I mean, nobody's that stupid,
Plato's.
So he can't be that stupid.
Plato, kind of. I don't know. No, I'm joking. Plato was not even that stupid. But
stepping into this world. There's some aspect to which you have a responsibility. I hate that word. You have you have an opportunity. I wish you guys would kind of be the beacon of forgiveness and friendship and camaraderie and that.
Yeah, I agree. And even if we disagree, it would be really good content for us to argue.
Shit talk, friends shit talk.
Sure.
Versus not the fact that you guys don't talk to each other. I would love for you to shit talk publicly.
Do you think
with the camaraderie always there? There's love in the beginning, love in the end.
What is he saying?
What are people?
Why is he trying to force these people to be friends? Man.
No, what is, by the way, I mean, the meaning of the language, the word love used to mean something. People used to, after 5 years of waiting somebody, okay, now I know for sure, saved my life when I was drowning in a lake. Now I love you. It's just we played a video game together. I love you. What's going on?
Before the last few weeks or month, whatever, we started watching his videos. Before that, I just assumed he was a much more interesting guy than this, at least. I don't know. In my head, I thought he would be.
I thought he was the smart, actually. We are the smart type. Yeah. No, he's just the most vacuous man, I think, online. He's the most empty, just doesn't have any. He's kind of like Joe Rogan without the sort of sense of humor and.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Rogan, if you watch 5 videos of his, you'd find much more of them interesting.
Yeah, but No, I mean, in the sense that he doesn't really have a strong political, it's just goes with a flow type situation. But this is just literally, he's empty. He's completely just.
And then on the other hand, of course, he puts on the image that he's as well-read
scientific
as
inquiry.
Humanly possible.
This is apparently this is scientific inquiry, not knowing anything about anything basically. Anybody shows up. What do you mean by this? And what is the... Maybe we should get in a room together and order...
That's okay. Do you have any other ideas? Anything else?
Yeah. No, but what if What if they come together as men and talk to each other? And
like, that's the same thing.
Maybe we put a big plate of spaghetti, and then one of them starts eating from this side, one of them starts eating from this side, and then the spaghetti, both they pick up the same strain, and they what happens then? What about that? Well, Jesus Christ! Now go to the
let's
Scientology
go.
one, man.
It's a bit of abuse. I mean, I wanted to punch Lex instead of the guy for the guy.
Yeah, that's the thing. If I were the guy, I would at this point be like, shut the fuck up, man. I'm trying. Yeah, he's trying to educate him, and this motherfucker is
on the topic that he's brought to provide insight on because he's a former Scientologist.
Yeah, and
it's
born
weird. I'm sure the guy didn't expect this kind of reaction from Lex.
Yeah.
So let's watch this clip.
Yeah, that's the only reason I forgive him for not punching the shit out of Lex, because he was
caught
so
off guard.
Yeah, exactly.
And even makes that joke.
You also mentioned survival. So that seems to be a core principle that human existence is about survival. Can you elaborate what is meant by survival? Are we talking about the survival of the human species, survival of the individual humans, survival of the manifestation of thetans in human form? What's survival?
So it would be all of that, because survival is the dominant force across all the dynamics. L. Ron Hubbard, it was either Dianetics or Science of Survival. He says he discovered the principle upon which all life exists, and that is all life, no matter what it is trying to do. Are you ready, Lex? Mm-hmm. It's trying to survive.
That's pretty powerful. That's pretty powerful. So here's the thing. I got to tell you,
You might get me back in, Lex.
No, I'm not trying to get you back in. I'm trying to get you to take seriously the power of the ideas behind Scientology, because I think those ideas are not bad ideas. They resonate with a lot of ideas throughout philosophy, throughout religions, throughout the history of human civilization. The interesting aspect is how it goes wrong.
But here's the thing, Lex. Here's the thing. It is consistent with prior efforts or studies. It's just that L. Ron Hubbard said this was a watershed breakthrough, that it was being discovered for the first time. That's kind of what I'm mocking, really.
Yeah, but you can mock Nietzsche for saying man is will to power. You can mock
But did
Freud.
he claim to be the first person to ever say it?
Well, Nietzsche, he's had a bit of an ego, so and he's full of contradictions. But I'm pretty sure the implied thing is that he was the first to say it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scientists. There's one of the people I really admire, Stephen Wolfram, who wrote a book called A New Kind of Science that explores complex systems and cellular automata and these mathematical systems that have been explored before. But he boldly kind of defined, I am presenting to you a whole new way to look at the world. And if you just set a little bit of the ego behind that aside, there's actually beautiful ideas in there. They have, of course, been done before and explored before. But sometimes people declare this is the coolest.
That's the only thing I'm really mocking is that this discovery that life is trying to survive is greater than the discovery of fire. Okay, I mean, it gets a little silly, but that's fine. We can agree that the fact that life is trying to survive has meaning and is meaningful and is valuable, and it's true. I mean, life is trying to survive.
Also, there's a non-trivial definition of what is life here. So this idea of a thetan, the thing that permeates through lifetimes.
Man, I can continue more if you want, but I want to show you for at least for the first time in today's podcast, the comments are more on our side. So let me just read one or two for you. Yeah, this one at least, I feel like Lex is working so hard to convince the Scientologist to come on the show.
He's right. That's it. That's why he's probably smarter than we give him credit for. He's Lex, you're my favorite. I read this maybe.
That said, this is insane that you're giving these a voice. Thank you for doing. Actually, never mind. I feel like Lex is missing the mark here. Okay,
man, come on.
Okay, one person.
Man, people who watch Lex.
I understand that he didn't give merit to his concept because okay.
But man, Lex's audience are the worst people on there.
Yeah, but it's not overwhelmingly like people. I don't know, but I feel like the reaction here might be a bit mixed.
Yeah, because it's such a ridiculous bullshit. But he does that with everything. But this is just so transparently nonsense that they have to, at least some of them, I guess. But no, he's just the worst, man. Did you like the part where he said maybe if you put some ego aside, maybe you should put your ego aside and listen to people when they first of all, he was making a joke, and not only you didn't laugh or like it's just such a rude thing, and made him to explain his joke, dissect the frog right there, and then like putting the ego aside, put your ego aside, you dumbass, and maybe you can learn something instead of just, I have an open mind. We have to listen to everybody. If you, there was a very good, endlessly open mind, just, I guess, becomes completely empty at the end. It's just, all the air goes out. There is a saying, I think, regarding that. I might be ripping somebody off here. So, it's just unbelievable. His brain is just way too open. Or he's trying to get like David Miscavige on. That's another quite possible.
No, but I mean in general, all of them, and then just brings up like the way he talked about Nietzsche. It's just Nietzsche. It's just so clear. It's just like the
Nietzsche's buddy.
Ego,
Nietzsche,
the ego is famous. No, he's terribly annoying. I honestly he's really the most getting on my under my skin.
Yeah, man, he's the typical karate kid, though, no? Don't you think? Like knows, some martial arts and the most vacuous, sort of empty, sort of yogi, sort of Chinese restaurant, fortune cookie.
No, he's I honestly expected, before I thought he would be much.
Me too. I really thought.
I thought it would be different.
I guess presentation. And what the fuck is going on at MIT? I hope he's not allowed near like major.
And the thing is, like, didn't have to listen to him long to then be like, okay, I get his shtick. Like, I don't know, it became really obvious after 4 videos. You know what I mean? Like his shtick wasn't hidden.
It's always like that.
I guess.
I know. I guess. I mean,
we watched quite a few videos now.
I feel like maybe we are getting better at it as well. Maybe that's just we're getting older.
Detecting.
Okay, bullshit. I'm out. But it was man. If I was that ex-Scientologist, I would have I don't know, I would have lost it. It's just I argue with people who are not in Iran and are not Iranian about Iranian politics, and I'm never this condescending. You know what I mean? Like just some Jesus Christ. Maybe if you put your ego aside and listen to me.
But okay, all right. Any final words?
No, it was a good one. We should do shorter shows.
Beautiful, really good. Okay, well, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video. Thank you.